tired as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You ever meet someone that makes you feel lazy about your own trauma? Well, that's my guest today, Shannon Burkett. Broadway actor, SNL alum, nurse, filmmaker, mom advocate. She even wrote and directed a stop-motion musical called My Vagina, the film festival kind, not the cry for help kind. And she's also a cancer survivor. But you'd think we'd talk about that last one, but we got so lost in 80s nostalgia, Patrick Stewart stories, and our shared contempt for corporate America that she's going to come back for that. Shannon is the force behind Lead. How this story ends is up to us. A podcast documentary born from the kind of real-life horror story that makes The Exorcist look like Sesame Street. Her son was basically poisoned by lead dust in their New York apartment. And she went full Shirley MacLaine in terms of endearment on the whole industry. Scorched earth, turning rage into a global movement. This is a conversation today about art, parenting, righteous anger, and what happens when an unstoppable theater nerd turned science geek Jersey girl collides with an immovable healthcare system and unbridled apathy at every corner of the universe. I'm Matthew Zachary, and this is Out of Patience. All right, my first question is, when did you become a theater nerd and why?
I became a theater nerd in high school. And I think it was because I liked being other people.
Ooh, yeah. That's deep.
I did. It was a great escape. And I always had this incredible imagination. And what I realized is that I think what was happening is that I was too ADHD to be a writer. And I had a graphomotor disability. So, which you never said that back in the 80s. You said that they just had terrible handwriting, right? Mm-hmm. And they can't open jars. Well, I actually had like a graphomotor disability and it's hard for me to write. And I'm a terrible speller, so I never wanted to write. So I think acting was actually my way of storytelling and really immersing myself in storytelling. And I loved it. I fell head over heels in high school for it.
Did you like accidentally watch Singing in the Rain and say, I want that?
No, I was actually I would watch Saturday Night Live.
Ooh, okay.
I was a big improver. I loved improv. Yeah, I know. Well, that's actually, when I look back, I'm like, I went this whole like serious theater route and I'm like, I should have like gone to UCB and explored my creative comedy side because comedy is my thing. I love comedy. I used to watch stand-up all the time. So I would watch stand-up. I would watch Saturday Night Live. Lucille Ball was one of my heroes. Carol Burnett. I loved the Tracy Ullman Show. Those were like some of my top
Did you like Kids in the Hall?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved like
Dave Foley. Where'd that guy go?
I don't know, but he is so funny.
Oh, can I see your head?
I know.
Can I see your head?
They had some of the best skits. Yeah. And if you see some of them now, you're like, wow, they were so ahead of their time.
They so were ahead of their time. It was crazy. Like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I loved that one too.
Yeah.
That was so good. There were a lot of, I loved going to the movies. I grew up in Middletown, New Jersey. There was like nothing else to do but like go to the movies.
Yep.
And so I'd go and I'd see
Back when we went to the movies.
I know. It's really, and I Actually, Andy and I, my partner and I, were talking about how years ago, SAG used to give you, with your SAG card, you could go in during voting time and you can go see all these free movies and you could go and see the movie and bring a guest. And now they send the discs or a link to your home. And we miss that because it was before kids. Right. So we would go to every single movie that was out. And I loved theater. Like there was something about the exchange of energy in a live theatrical venue that really attracted me.
So were you like thrilled beyond belief when SNL started to become feature films like Happy Gilmore and
oh yeah,
like these characters were becoming on the big screen?
Oh, yeah.
Huge transformation.
Huge.
I mean, Eddie Murphy was the first, of course, but he
Yes.
he was on SNL for an hour.
He was.
Billy Crystal was on SNL for an hour. Like, we're talking like real people, like Phil Hartman became
Yeah.
The Simpsons and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I loved seeing that. And I also think that comedy isn't given its due, you know, and I know that there's been pushes over the years as far as awards go, for whether it be like the Oscars, Golden Globe, SAG, whatever.
Yeah.
It just isn't, comedy's tough. It's really hard. It's, you know, and I don't want to say like, oh, it's easier to cry, but it's really actually really hard to cry and make someone laugh at the same time. Through your tears. And that's actually what I found really thrilling about acting, is like I cry really easily, and I could do that and make people laugh by becoming incredibly vulnerable.
Well, I can, like when I first met, I didn't know this when I first met you. Like, oh, this bitch is going to cut me. Like, that was like how I saw that you were. And then they're like, I'm going to tread lightly here with Shannon. That's not the way you, but I love that this is beneath the surface and this is really who you are institutionally. Yeah. I read.
Was it the Jersey girl that you were like, she's going to cut me or
no,
pull
like
my
you were
pull
taking
my hair?
on the fucking planet with your documentary and your kid and like your mom advocacy shit. Like I'm not going to get in your way.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that is maybe the Jersey girl in me too, where it's like there's a toughness. There's definitely like a toughness to me, and if I didn't have that toughness, I wouldn't have been able to persevere and actually do an arts route. So you do have to have a little bit of fuck you, I'm going to do it. Otherwise, like, you just get eaten up by the business.
Well, I think that's maybe a lot of 80s Gen X grit that we were born with, like eating rust and whatever the hell kept us alive in the 80s.
Drinking from the hose and, you know, swimming.
Or just the park fountain, got after the pigeon shat in it. Yeah, that's quality. That builds white cells.
I know. Raising ourselves, running through the creek with like probably alligators in it, you know.
And just non-apologetically Gen X. And I'm sorry everyone else got softer after us.
Yeah. I've actually, I mean, when my kids listen to this, they're going to be like, yep. I've actually gotten a little more like Gen X-y with them, where I'm like, nope, we gotta toughen up there. Yeah. Buck up, little camper. Like, you know what? Shit happens. Bad things happen. And because I grew up Gen X, and because we were basically like seen and not heard and running out and playing at all hours until like basically like the street lamp went on. Like that was my call home. Yep. If at all. So
classic Goonies.
Classic Goonies. Yeah. I mean, Goonies was like, I was like, oh, that's like my life without the diamonds. So
did you want to be Martha Plimpton after you saw that movie? Because I wanted to date Martha Plimpton after I saw that movie.
I loved her. I've always loved her. I think, and I've met her, and she's
like
really
10.
sparkly. I know. I did too. I wanted to date the whole class, the whole cast. I mean, it was probably bad.
I'm sure Stand By Me was like, what do they call that? Thirst these days?
Thirst. I know they have all the is a definite thirst. Yeah. I definitely like the pretty boys were, they're always pretty.
Well, the Coreys, can't go wrong with the Coreys.
You can't go wrong with the Coreys.
All right, fun fact. What was the only movie Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were in together?
Somebody just told me this.
My wife, I didn't know that until she told me that she's watched it. And we have it on VHS in the house in a box.
When you tell me it, I know. I'm
Licensed to Drive.
Yes, that's it. That's
the Coreys.
The Coreys. Do you remember them? Do you remember? I'll just never remember like the opening scene of Goonies. The whole Goonies, like
in the house.
Yeah.
After the truffle shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just loved it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just loved it so much, and I loved the whole skeleton piano and running through, and I love the idea that like the kids were the ones that were in charge. Mm-hmm. That to me felt like my life, because it was like, oh yeah, no, the kids are just in charge at night. That's all we are. We're all in charge. Well, the parents are off who knows where.
As a Jew growing up in the 80s, when Chunk escapes the house with the Fratellis and he's confessing to the truck on the road what's going on, and then it's the Fratelli and he starts going, Baruch atah Adonai. We just lost our shit. It's the best thing ever.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Corey Haim did one of the most tear-jerking, emotionally scarring movies of the 80s called Lucas.
Oh, I loved Lucas.
Lucas
loved
rent space in my head 40
Charlie
years later.
Sheen.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's still, absolutely. I watched that incessantly. Mm-hmm. I would go.
He was me.
Yeah.
I was that kid.
I was too.
Yeah.
I was the weirdo. I mean, like I was the weird kid out, and I loved science too, and I loved nature, and I would go out. I caught frogs. I was out there, and I was a weirdo. I've always been a weirdo. It's just in my nature to be weird.
Well, hey, you liked SNL in the 80s and 90s. You had to be weird to do that.
Yeah, because
it was so niche and cult back then.
Yes, it was very niche and cult, and I would just I would do the characters and I would do the voices, and I loved Martin Short. Martin Short was like one of my favorites. He just made me laugh like so hard.
Was this the Jiminy Glick era?
Yes.
OG Jiminy Glick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So there was a lot of, it was just like, and I would force myself to stay awake, you know, because I was younger. And so I would force myself to stay awake to see it. I loved it. And I remember like David Letterman and like Stupid Pet Tricks. And I
remember the Velcro Man skit?
Is that with Letterman? Yeah. It's coming back to me a little bit. Yeah.
The Velcro skit, which I'll put a link in the description on the Velcro skit.
Okay.
He's wearing an entire, like a jacket, like a full bodysuit that's Vel, and there's a giant wall of crow.
Yeah.
And he like jumps down onto the springboard.
Yeah.
And flies in the air and just sticks to the wall.
Yeah. I remember that.
It wouldn't be funny today, but it was super funny back then.
Yeah, it was so funny. So funny. I mean, I think one of my favorite was the weightlifters too, when they went to weightlift.
Oh, the pump you up?
Yeah, the pump. Well, no, it was a little different than pump you up. I'm not sure if it was that skit, but I just remember they go to pull it up and their arms came off.
Oh, that was the all steroid Olympics.
It was the all steroid Olympics. Was the best. I loved that. That made me laugh so hard.
And Happy Fun Bowl.
Oh yeah, yeah. There were so many good skits.
There's like only 3 people left listening to the show at this point, and they're all in their early 50s.
Yeah, I know. And they're like, I remember that. Whereas my kids are always like, huh?
I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, or this is true or not, that you appeared with Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, I did. I played his daughter in the last new play that Arthur Miller wrote on Broadway.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah. Frances Conroy played my mom. So it was an unbelievable cast, and it was honestly like an unbelievable experience. And Patrick Stewart is one of the most gracious human beings I have ever met.
He was already Picard by then.
Yep.
Did the audience give him grace to let him just be himself and not say, Captain Picard?
Yeah. No, they did. They did actually.
Okay.
And he was incredible in the role. I mean, he was incredible in the role. And in fact, the producers were smart. They didn't have an understudy for him because they just canceled the show if he couldn't do it, because they knew that
you can't do that.
No, everybody was coming to see him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I've got a good ego, but like, no, everybody was coming to see him. And I was just like a happy addition. Or
I had to call that out. That is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
You should own that.
I adore him. He's just like, he's the nicest guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
he listens to the show. So, hey,
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you.
Thank
Clearly.
you. He really, truly is the captain. He really leads a ship with such grace and strength and humility, but also strength. Like, he is not, I don't want to also say like, oh, he's the nicest guy. He's not a pushover. Like he's a lot of fight in him.
He's a Brit.
And he's a Brit. And I really love how he has focused on domestic violence. And that was an issue that he grew up with. And he has really dedicated a lot of his time, money, and energy on that issue. And that I really appreciate that, because I think it's more challenging for, not to stereotype, but I think it's more challenging for men to take on that issue, because while men do incur like domestic violence, it's more likely to be a woman. And then you usually work for issues that affect you in your life.
And just for the listeners, that show is Arthur Miller's The Ride Down Mount Morgan.
Yeah.
You want to go Wikipedia that.
Or go to the New York Public Library and you could watch it.
The what?
The New York Public Library.
The what? What's a library? What's the word?
What is that? Does that have like? It has those things that has paper in it and then cardboard on the side.
That's where Ghostbusters started, isn't it? I know that.
No, it was actually a firehouse where Ghostbusters.
No, the opening
started.
scene in Ghostbusters was at the
I
library.
know. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
That's how I know what a library is. Movies do work.
Movies really work. And you know what? Whenever I'm working for, my son had lead poisoning as a baby. And so that's a big issue for me.
Don't spoil the second half of the show.
No, I'm sorry. I can cut that out. But
No.
I was going to say, oh shoot. No, I forgot. Now see the menopause.
Now we're owning
brain.
it's Gen Z.
It's Gen Z. Yeah.
No, wait, not Gen Z. It's Gen X.
It is Gen X.
Yeah.
Because nobody actually listened to us. So when we start talking, we just assume that no one's going to
I know. We're just so used to having no one in the audience.
I'm so used to somebody just walking away,
I know.
It's like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
All right, one more fun fact before we get to the badass Kill a Man 10 Ways version of you after the break. You wrote a stop motion animated short called My Vagina.
I did.
And I couldn't stop thinking about the My Buddy commercials from the 80s. My buddy. My buddy.
It's pretty similar.
Now, I was going to explain yourself, but you don't have to because this is reeks of who I know you really are. Yeah. I want to hear all about it.
So My Vagina is from a musical that I wrote called Perfect Little School. And it's about a stage mom who produces her child's musical at his grammar school. And the principal decides to cancel the musical in spite. And so the whole musical, they try to get it back. Mm-hmm. It's an allegory for an administration that we don't have to talk about, but it's really funny. And so this particular song, My Vagina, is about the PTA president who actually sends a picture of her vagina to her Manny, who works at the school instead of her boyfriend.
Ooh.
So now the entire school has a picture of her vagina, which I know so many women can relate to. It's really easy. It's really easy. You're like, oh, where am I sending my vagina today? Oops, wrong one. Now the whole school has a picture of my vagina. But making that was such an enlightening experience and a freeing experience for me because I was working as a nurse during the pandemic, doing voiceovers for TV and film. And so I had some money and I found this incredible artist and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I put my little toddler hands on my hips and I said, I do it myself. And so I did it and I did not pay anywhere near what most stop motion studios
This was not Wallace and Gromit.
No, but this guy, Neil Burns, I have to just give him a huge shout out, is one of the most incredible artists. And what he did with this song, it is so funny. And it got into over 25 film festivals, including several Oscar qualifiers. And actually 5 of the films that we screamed with were nominated for an Oscar, and 2 of them actually won.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So it was me standing up there at Woodstock with Sean Lennon because he had produced this animated short. I think it was called War is Over. And I just remember when I was sitting in the audience, because you don't know the other filmmakers a lot of the times. You're just sitting in the audience and then you go up for a talk back. And when I sat there and I watched this film, I was really impressed and I really liked the film, but I was like, oh, this is expensive. I was like, this is really expensive. And then at the very end, they had So This Is Christmas by John Lennon. And I was like, and then my heart kind of broke for them because I was like, oh no, they don't know that they can't use that song. Mm-hmm. And then it was Sean Lennon. And I was like, oh, well, I think he can use that song.
He can use that song.
I think he can use that song. So, and he was very gracious too. I mean, he was just lovely. And I was standing up next to him and there I am, with My Vagina and his film, and he's there with the guys from Pixar that he worked with, and when people are like, how did you guys fund your things? And I was like, I pay for it with my nursing chefs, and it's like, I felt like such a dork.
All right. So from Corey Haim and the Fratellis
Yep.
And what else did we say? I forget. Any 80s reference. We're going to take a break and come back with the dial it up to 11 version of yourself.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back. Why nursing?
Because my son was diagnosed with lead poisoning.
So you became a nurse because of unexpected fuckery in your life.
Correct.
What were you before? Just Patrick Stewart's
daughter.
Yeah.
That's all.
That was
you
it.
know, just
so
doing
from Patrick Stewart's daughter to nurse because you had fuckery in your life.
Because I had fuckery in my life. And because being an actor takes a lot of socialization.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay in front of people's face in order for them to remember to cast you or to call you in for things or that you're still alive, which actually after I had cancer, when I went into...
You spoiled that part
no,
too.
Sorry. I know.
It's
So with
fine.
lead poisoning.
Everyone's
going to
read the intro and anyway, so.
So I did. My son was diagnosed with lead poisoning. And I mean, when I had him, that was my first instinct when I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I might be able to be a nurse. That kind of looks really cool. I mean, I come from a medical family, so it's not,
right.
You know, I was supposed to be a doctor. So it was not like a far stretch.
So from SNL nerd to Patrick Stewart's daughter.
Which I actually was on SNL twice. I did a 5 and Under. Yeah, I did an Alec Baldwin skit, and I did a Will Ferrell. It was Janet Reno. So I did Janet Reno, and then I did the Roxy Berry
This
guys.
show's going to go like 9 hours. Folks,
Yeah.
strap in because
Yeah.
I'm going to just be in like fanboy mode at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to get to the question that I know irks you the most because I just want to say it. Lead poisoning? That's still a thing?
I know, right? I know. I actually, I give a lot of grace to people because I'm like, I did not know it was a thing until my son was diagnosed. Like, when I got the call, I was like, what? Like, I thought that was a thing of the 80s. Like, wasn't that like when we were watching Goonies?
Like Spanish flu shit. Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I'm like, wait a second, like smallpox. Like, what are we talking about here? But it is still a thing. And actually, the year that Cooper was diagnosed, 58,000 kids in the city of New York were diagnosed.
Right.
It's down
so
to
dumb
40.
question.
Yeah.
Then. How the hell do you know it's lead poisoning, and what becomes of a child when they're exposed?
We found out because in New York City and New York State, it's actually required for you to have your child tested between the ages of 9 and 12 months. And thank the goddesses, our pediatrician decided to test him at 9 months. And we found out that he had elevated lead levels. We had no idea where it was coming from. Talk about your 80s. I mean, I felt like I was in like Nightmare on Elm Street or one of the other major like scary 80s movies because you have no idea where it's coming from. Your kid is diagnosed and you start looking around and you're like,
Where's the lead?
Where's the lead? You're like, is it behind me? Is it around the corner in front of me? It really like permeates your whole conscious.
Literally coming from in the house.
It was coming from in the house. So it was coming actually from the construction site below our apartment, had contaminated our apartment with lead dust the year before.
So it spread up.
Our apartment for about 6 months on and off looked like a 30-year-old Victorian house that hadn't been opened. So there was just like all of a sudden when they would demo, I could pick this up and there would be a ring there and you would see dust everywhere.
And this is construction in the unit below you?
In the store space below us.
In the store space below you. Okay. So
They
the
demoed
street
it.
level commercial space.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. They demoed that. They filled our apartment with lead dust on and off. They lied to me repeatedly. They told me there was nothing in the dust. And they also told me that there was nothing I could do about the dust, which is also incorrect because any debris, and everybody should know this, any debris outside of a construction site is illegal. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's construction debris is coming into your space, you should call 311.
Did you own or rent?
I owned.
Okay.
I owned. So we didn't know. And because the construction happened the year before, that wasn't the first thing on my mind. And they had sent a couple of regular cleaning crews to come to clean the dust. So I was like, all right, well, the dust is gone. But guess what? Lead doesn't come out of fabrics. So when my little one was crawling around on the ground and putting his hands in his mouth after crawling on the rug, he was getting this low level of exposure. When I didn't realize, so he was diagnosed and I was so diligent. I went into that like fight or flight mode. I was like, all right, my pediatrician told me to take my shoes off because I ran over the Brooklyn Bridge. I looked at all our dishes. I looked at the toys. I looked at our walls. Like I looked everywhere. I washed his hands. I kept him out of the sandbox. 1 month later, his levels go up to 19.
Wait, what's normal?
Normal, there is no
Is there a
safe,
normal?
Well,
Like
it used
you
to
can
be,
have this much cockroach in your food kind of normal?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Like it used to be that at that time it was 12, I believe.
12 what?
12 micrograms.
Okay.
And it went down to 5 and now it's 3.5 because we actually know now that there is no safe measurable level of lead in the body. It affects every organ. It goes into every soft tissue. It is throughout your body.
Wait, what was Cooper experiencing like strange symptomatic behaviors at 9 months old? Or was this just like you happened to discover it because you had a proactive pediatrician?
Correct.
Okay.
We had a proactive pediatrician who decided to test at 9 months, the state test at 9 months versus 12 months.
Right.
But I will say in that 1 month, when his levels went up, when it went up to 19, he stopped speaking. He stopped responding to his name. He stopped pointing. He stopped waving. He basically crawled inside his mind, trapped behind bars made of lead.
Wow.
It was awful. We very quickly saw the vicious and unrelenting havoc that lead wreaks on a baby's body and a baby's brain.
Who did you want to punch first?
It's actually a testament to my will and patience that I did not punch the contractor. And in fact, he should never, ever be in an alley alone with me because I will take him out.
I mean,
I will take that guy out.
There should have been where'd this arson come from?
Yeah. I mean, like, it is really hard when I remember one time on the street, like a couple months after, and he was there because it ended up, he did the second, so they split the store space in two. And so he was actually hired to do the second half. And I remember seeing him, and it's, he's just really lucky that I was there with my little kids. And I'm sure I'm lucky too, because being in jail right now would probably be a bad thing. Yeah. But I just remember seeing this, like this brick on the street. And I was like, you know what? You contaminated my apartment and you basically took a brick to my little baby's head. And how about I do it to you? But I didn't. I'm here.
What was the store that was there before the demolition? Was it built in? Obviously, it was built at a time where lead was permissible in construction.
Oh yeah. We live in a building that was built in 1920. So any building that is built before 1978 is very, very, very likely to have lead in it. You can renovate. And so the store was almost like this makeshift strawberry before, and then a bank was going into it.
Okay.
So the bank wanted a big, fancy overhaul.
Got the whole thing.
Just gut. They had so much money. They could have easily abated the walls without blowing it into the smithereens. They knew after the depositions, because I'm not a litigious person, but we did have to not have to, but we did sue them because I tried to press criminal charges. I went to the ADA and I went to the AG, and the problem is that Cooper would have had to die, or one other child would have had to have gotten hurt. It has to be more than one. It can't just be one. Or he had to be a construction worker, because a construction worker has a strong union. And a strong union is going to make sure that there are laws in place that will penalize offenders by putting them in jail, because money is really not a deterrent. It's insurance. Mm-hmm. It's not a deterrent. However, both the ADA and the AG said to me, they were like, look, we can't tell you this, but unofficially, you should pursue a civil lawsuit, because sometimes they do deter. And they gave me an example of, I think like, there used to be some pajamas were like lighting on fire and different things where different products that have had to go through lawsuits have changed their ways. They don't want to, but it becomes cost prohibitive. So if I make it expensive for them to demo by suing them afterwards, the next time they go to a place that is built before in 1978, hopefully they have thought twice about abating before they demo.
I don't think I know the answer to this with all my research. Did you call Erin Brockovich?
It's very funny. Yeah, I didn't, but she's definitely like an inspiration to me. I should reach out to her because it really is an environmental hazard. And lead is one of those things that it really, whether it's PFAS, whether it's lead, whether
What's
it's
PFAS?
PFAS is the plastics.
Okay.
So it's forever plastics that actually they're carcinogenic as well. So they
keep you nice and healthy.
Yeah, they keep you nice and healthy until they don't. Until they like cause cancer.
Come on, embalming is fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll live forever, just not like your mind.
Right.
Your body might live forever. But it's one of those things that I feel like lead is part of the bigger question of, do we have the right to clean air, clean water, and a safe place to live? And I believe that we do. And that's what I'm fighting for.
Mm-hmm. At what point did you say, I'm going to do a documentary? Like that didn't, I'm sure that didn't like splatter into your brain on day one.
No, honestly, it didn't. What it did was, a few years ago when we started our advocacy work, it was really around the time when Biden-Harris had an initiative to get rid of lead pipes. And I literally I was scrolling.
Did that come out of nowhere, or that's been like sitting and simmering somewhere?
Nope. I mean, you know what? However people, again, this can be apolitical, this is about lead poisoning, and this administration was the first one in decades to take lead poisoning seriously. So Biden put billions of dollars into the eradication of lead. And that is why you are seeing all of these lead pipes being replaced. And he also gave a bunch of grants for lead paint remediation. So I had no idea. When Cooper was diagnosed, there was like, unlike cancer, which again, no trauma competition here, but I was very alone. I thought that I was the only one.
There was no stupid lead.
There was no stupid lead, nothing. Like no ribbon, no walk,
right?
No gala, no phones,
right.
No celebrity spokesperson, nothing. No support group, which I really needed, like a support group. I needed other people to talk to about what I was going through, and thinking I was like just going crazy because I was like, wait, why is my kid eating sheetrock off the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he eating his bed? He had the worst case of pica, the eating of non-food items that my pediatrician has seen in her 20 years of practice.
Was that like addiction based for the body to need it, or that would have been under any circumstance?
I don't think it would have been under any circumstance. And it's funny because I said to my pediatrician, I said, I think lead causes pica, and the accepted understanding is that, well, pica causes lead. And I was like, do you think my son would be eating the sheetrock off the wall if he hadn't had lead? And she was like, no.
Right.
And a lot of kids have pica who have had lead poisoning. It's just as like a nurse and sort of like looking at it, I'm wondering whether it's either they get anemic. My son was anemic. Whether or not they get that urge to eat because they have a deficiency,
right? Which
women back in the 30s, when they were mineral deficient, they would eat clay. So pica is something when you have a deficiency. But I also wondered whether or not it was a compulsion. So whether or not he had like some sort of compulsive behavioral thing that was sort of set off in him.
Like there's like a dopamine thing or a narcotic thing to it?
Yeah. Almost like I have to, and it's like a behavioral thing because he became very, very aggressive. And that's one of the things that's not understood about lead is that there is this whole personality change and aggression that can come out of them and difficulty regulating their emotions. It's really rough.
Cooper your first kid?
He was my second.
Your second?
Yeah, he was my second.
Was the first one born in this apartment, but that was before the demo, right?
My older daughter was not. She was 5 when the demo.
Okay.
Yeah. So she wasn't crawling. I mean, thank goodness, she wasn't crawling around. She wasn't putting her hands in her mouth, things like that.
Right.
Because he was a baby. He was doing baby things.
Yeah, right.
He was just doing baby things. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So luckily she did not.
So much for baby-proofing the apartment.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you think you think that you have safety proofed your house.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I just have that rug right there. It's just full of a neurotoxin that's just going to wreak havoc on my kid's brain. You know, how was I supposed to know that?
And this bar of sauce made of molybdenum.
But I did. So I honestly, when he was diagnosed and I saw him lose his ability to speak, and I knew I had a kid where I did not know how sick he was going to be, and I did not know the extent of the damage. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, when he was a toddler, I did not think he was going to be in a gen ed class. Like I thought that we were going to be supporting him for life. So I didn't quit acting. I kept acting, but I kind of just added nursing. So I went back to school and I started taking classes, and I actually am a science geek.
So you're a theater nerd
and
a science geek.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
I would not have pegged that. Of course I would have pegged that.
So I loved it. And it was just a place where my life was so chaotic with Cooper's illness that it was a place where I could go and everything made sense. Mm-hmm. I knew how compounds could work. I knew equations. I could work them. And to me, science is such a beautiful art form. And I think it's like very spiritual.
Unless you're RFK.
No. Then it's the enemy.
Yes, exactly.
And science is just the enemy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so horrifying to be a nurse and hear that women should just tough it out and not take Tylenol.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrific.
He said something. I mean, we're recording this in, what the hell is it, October? This will probably air in December or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're recording this at the time they just said circumcisions give you autism.
Unless
that's not out of context. That is not out of context.
Say unless your brain is in your penis, in your foreskin, right. It's, you know what I mean? It's not. So it's very hard. It's extremely hard because I think women, when they first have a baby, are incredibly vulnerable. Mm-hmm. They're very vulnerable. You don't, especially if you're young and you just kind of do it and you're flying, but a lot of women who are what we would say type A, and they're very educated, and their career is, they've excelled in their career, and they go and have a baby and it blows them out of the water. Yeah. And it creates this insecurity. And to play on that, to me, is so gross. It's so gross to play on these families' worst nightmare, and also to exploit families who are looking for an answer.
Yes.
They're looking for an answer. I know what it's like to be looking for an answer, and I just find it really vile.
So let's go to the upside here. How is Cooper doing these days?
Cooper's actually doing really well. He's doing very well, but it took a lot to get him here.
Yeah. How do you de-leadify a human being?
Well, there's something called chelation, chelation is very similar to chemotherapy, and it wreaks havoc. So you really have to weigh whether or not the levels are high enough to put the kid through it, because it's pretty damaging. Luckily, he was not that high. So what I did is I did a cocktail of magnesium, iron, and calcium. And actually, studies have shown that children with a rich diet of calcium actually absorb less lead.
Wow.
So good nutrition.
Chemistry.
All right. I know. Life is better with chemistry,
yes.
But I mean, usually we say that about marijuana and things like that. But
that's a different chemistry.
That's a different chemistry. But yeah, so I would give him these supplements, and within 2 weeks, it went down to 12. And when I went to Montefiore's lead prevention program, or lead program, the doctor there was like really impressed. And he was like, how'd you do that? And I was like, well, I was really diligent about making sure that like we did our calcium meal and didn't mix different, like if I mixed iron with calcium, then it could actually block each other.
Yeah.
So I was very diligent about his supplements, but it took 3 years for it to leave his body.
Yeah, that was my question. Like,
3 years.
This is not something that let you snap a finger. Oh yeah, just go in the sauna. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Just wash it off. Take the hose out. I just hose it down.
Yeah, right.
Right? It goes down, but then it bell curves.
Yeah.
And then it takes forever to leave their body. And in fact, it stays in their long bones for decades. And
sure.
with different hormonal shifts and different things that happen in your life, like lactation, pregnancy, getting older, when those hormones shift, your body will actually release the lead that's sitting in your bones back into your circulatory system.
Quality biology right there.
Right. Yeah.
Did you have to leave the house like poltergeist and go find
yep.
someplace else to live?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I moved in with my parents for a few months, and we got, it was very serendipitous in that we had signed up for a 9/11 study because my husband loves free things, and they offered free cleaning if they found any toxins in your apartment.
Wow.
So actually, like, they saved my son's life.
Yeah.
They really honestly did. Because when he was diagnosed, I had it looked like ET in my home. Like, they were testing everything.
Yeah.
Find out my kid has lead. I freak out. Then the lead levels goes up. He stops speaking. And so I called the case manager from the EPA, and I begged her to come and help me try to figure out how my kid was getting sick, because we really didn't know where he was getting sick. And in retrospect, if we had just moved, we would have brought all our contaminated stuff with us. So it wouldn't even have mattered if we moved. So EPA, they're not supposed to help individuals, but her and her boss, who are John and Jane in the podcast, came to our home and literally like went around looking at everything that I was looking at. They were like, nope, your walls are intact. Nope. And we were all just standing around sort of like, because he had stopped speaking, and it was very intense. And I was really frightened. And all of a sudden I said, we had this construction dust. And my husband actually like totally poo-pooed it. He was like, Shannon, come on.
Right.
And I was like,
husbands.
Yeah, I was like, he was like, come on. I know, right? And I was like, and then Mark was like, what do you mean dust? And so that was it.
Yeah.
He was like, lead doesn't come out of fabric. So he basically had to tell me, because I had taken a box of toys out of storage, and even though I put them through the washing machine, it didn't matter.
Right.
Because the lead stayed in the fabrics, and I had to throw everything out. And then the EPA cleaned our apartment properly.
Wow.
And that also helped. So that and the supplements.
Wait, did you throw the furniture out?
Yeah. Okay. We threw out rugs, we threw out furniture, we threw out a lot of clothing.
Some
not everything.
You didn't give it to like a thrift store. That'd be terrible.
No. I threw stuff out.
You burned it.
No.
Throw it to a volcano.
No, actually, they use my couch as like protection for x-rays now. They
Perfect.
just,
Got it at the dentist.
At
Done.
the dentist, yeah. They just stand behind my couch.
All right, one more break. We come back with a lightning round and to talk a little bit about the documentary, because I'm a big fan. And some more to come. Right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
You get the third segment on adaptations. It's worthy.
Yeah.
So for those, the documentary is Lead, How the Story Ends is Up to Us.
Yeah.
I met you several months ago.
Yep.
I'm thrilled I did. We are best friends for the rest of time.
Yes. Forever and ever.
And I ran your documentary on the Adaptations feed this summer to help get more exposure for it. And it did really well. Like thousands of people listened to it from my feed. I got a lot of feedback from it.
Fantastic.
It's under the guise of adaptations. It's all healthcare fuckery.
Yep.
Cancer is just one of the many things that's healthcare fuckery.
I know.
But I was just so moved by this, and I'm on the other side now. Like, I didn't know this was the thing. How the fuck is lead still a thing?
How is it still a thing?
And,
800 million children in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
800 million children.
Oh,
in the
that's
world.
nothing. Come on.
Yeah, that's nothing. I mean, just a few hundred. It's just
like,
I mean, like, it would be okay. I mean, I would pay attention if it was a billion, but 800 million.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Not enough.
I need more number. I need more zeros.
Right, just
to
a few more
justify
zeros.
caring about this. Look, I mean, it's a sign of the times of evolution of civilization that we learn not to do this.
Correct.
But at the same time, it'd be nice if we could figure out how to not let the past continue to fuck us up.
Correct.
And that's the point of this documentary, raising awareness for this. Normally, don't we already know about this? No, here's something we don't know about.
Nope. Exactly.
It's a brilliant podcast series.
Thank you. And, I mean, I have to really give it up to the actors like Merritt Wever, Alessandro Nivola. Actually, Cooper plays himself. We have like over 40 actors in this, and a lot of Broadway, Tony Award
You cashed in all your
winners.
SNL chips, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually did. Like, I called.
But where's Patrick Stewart? Make it so.
I really.
I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you.
No. I really wanted him, but
Yeah.
I really didn't have a big enough role to offer him without insulting him.
Yeah, it's
do you know
very,
what I
very
mean?
fair. Yeah.
I was like,
He's
I
King
really
Lear.
wanted
He's
to.
not-
No,
yeah.
I mean, I couldn't be like, will you be like clerk number 3? I would just like that would
It's like being
not.
shrub number 2 in the second grade play.
Exactly. So it was hard, but I mean, I would be honored for him to be shrub number 3 anytime. But it's a narrative, and it is. I am extremely proud of it, and I feel like anybody who has ever gone through a difficult time and has sort of had the whole world gaslighting them, I think this is the podcast for you. Mm-hmm. It is a podcast about perseverance. It's a podcast also about finding your voice. And I definitely feel like through this journey with lead, I found my voice. I went from being that person when the contractor was like, do you think, I would have my guys in this if there was anything in this dust, to being like, well, okay, to being like, no, let's
But
actually
those guys were
fight
probably
this.
wearing masks, weren't they?
Not well. Like,
No?
I actually am really concerned about the guys that worked in there.
Okay.
And in fact, when I would come out, there were days when I would come out and see the workers, and they would be out there and their face would be pink and they'd have their mask off and they'd be like, I can't breathe. It's
That's
bad.
a great contractor, that guy.
Yeah.
That was only one brick on the street?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and not only that, but those workers, if they have little ones at home and they bring that stuff home on their clothes.
Yep, that's it. This is metastasizing.
It's metastasizing. Lead is very insidious.
Mm-hmm.
It's really insidious. And sometimes I almost feel like it's smart. Like, how does it know to do these things? Like, how does it know? Like, it's nice and shiny. So it makes colors pop. That's why they use it.
Mm-hmm.
And overseas, they've used it in turmeric and in spices to make it pop.
Yeah.
They use it in children's makeup to make it pop.
And pencils.
And pencils.
Before graphite.
Exactly.
Good
But that's why they put it in paint.
Yeah.
And in fact, I actually was having a conversation with a pediatrician who was in Pennsylvania at the height of like the lead problem of the 80s there.
Yeah.
And there were these painters who, this one kid got sick from these kitchen cabinets. And they were like, wait a second, these were renovated. Like, they were painted, they were taken off and painted. Like, how do they have lead in it? It turns out that the painters, the contractor guy, decided that, oh, well, they shouldn't have taken lead out of paint because it makes it look better, and he added it back in.
It was prettier that way.
It was prettier that way.
Yes.
It's just pretty.
That's a decent human being right there.
Right there. That's some understanding. Yeah.
So the website is endleadpoisoning.org.
It is, yes. And
That's pretty straightforward.
Yep. And if you want to see all the photos of the dust and the photos of the pica and all of these different, and just see how cute Cooper is. He's a cute guy.
He's a very cute kid.
He's a very cute kid. He's a good guy. And he's at NYU, but he also, lead often affects children who live at or below the poverty line and kids of color. So this is also a moral issue. We're allowing this to happen to our most vulnerable citizens' children, and then even more our more vulnerable, marginalized citizens.
Only 800 million.
Only 800 million worldwide. Not a big deal.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Not at all.
All right. Now we go to the lightning round.
Okay.
Which is really my AI bonus round.
Yeah.
And I do this with all my guests, is that I feed my ChatGPT, who I've come to know and love.
Yeah.
Not like her Joaquin Phoenix style. Just it's a utility. With information about you, my thoughts on you, my relationship with you, your relationship to the show, and I ask it a very important question.
All right.
If you were a Netflix series of your own, who would portray you as an amalgam of the top 3 Gen X pop culture soulmates? You don't have to answer it, but these will not surprise you because clearly one's Erin Brockovich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was spat out.
Yeah.
And it says, unrelenting civilian investigator who exposes environmental negligence and proves that expertise can come from lived experience.
Yeah.
It then says you're Jane Eyre.
Oh, wow. Oh, I
The
love
moral insurgent who refuses silence, holds her ground against power, and demands decency in a world built to deny it.
I like Jane Eyre, actually.
And then it went all full cartoon. You are Jessica Jones. Marvel.
Oh, wow. Nice.
The
Superhero.
cynical truth seeker hero who weaponizes trauma into justice and keeps showing up even when she shouldn't have to.
I think that might be the winner.
ChatGPT for the win.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, Erin Brockovich, and Jane Eyre.
Yeah, I'll take all 3.
All wrapped into Shannon Burkett.
Yeah. We can mix those in a big bowl.
We're going to do that. I love talking to you.
I love talking to you,
You are
too.
welcome here any fucking time you want.
Thank you.
To talk about any 80s thing, any grievance, any Festivus moments. This is any Patrick Stewart nostalgia ever.
Oh, he's great.
Yes.
He's really great.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. And thank you so much for having the podcast while you took that very, very well-deserved vacation this summer.
There's an old phrase, it's the least I could do. If I could have done less, I would. I adore you. I love you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Shannon Burkett, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.